Okay, let's see what moving out the mill gap did. There you go. I have to take a closer look. Cracked. I just want to make sure everything's cracked and looking good. I know that I didn't have issues with the brewhouse efficiency on the last batch of beer I did, which was the wet hopped harvest ale. I didn't have issues with efficiency related to the grist. It was more so the boil didn't give me the OG I needed. Yeah, this looks like a lot more whole. Well, there's some broken up grain. Membrane split wide open. But overall, I would say that this looks more whole, which makes sense. I widened the gap on the rollers. But we'll see how it goes. We'll roll with it. We'll see how it goes. What's going on, guys? Nick Lessigore here, Exit 12 Homebrew in the house. Today's a very special day, very fun day. Today is a Learn to Homebrew Day. Now, Learn to Homebrew Day is in November of every year. The AHA puts it on. It's a really fun event where we try to get people into the hobby. For Brewtubers specifically, we utilize this as a chance to open up our video conference. In this case, it's Google Meet. We open it up to the general public, and people that are interested in homebrewing or interested in the club can come and join. They can pop into the meeting room, which is right here. And they can join us, introduce themselves, and talk about homebrewing. It's one of our biggest recruiting events of the year. So, with that said, I'm having a great day. I'm brewing my honey blonde ale. I'm not gonna show a ton of footage on the brew day. I've brewed the honey blonde ale going on 11 times now. You know what that looks like, but I have made some changes. Number one is I've gone back to using the heat exchanger dish, the HED. I've gone back to using it in the wet hopped beer. I did not use it. It didn't seem to make too much of a difference, but I am going to use it in this one. And then the second big change that I'm making is this. I am going away from using this for the brew day. I should not have done that. And it is not broken. Good. yikes, I may want to use this again. But I'm not going to use it today. And the reason why is I need peace of mind on my brew day. I need to know ignorance is bliss. I'm going to use the built-in. I need to do a better job. I need to find a system for if I'm going to use that wrap temperature probe, I don't want to just use it without making changes to figure out what I'm doing wrong. So I'm going to use that in the future at some point. I'm not going to use it today. I'm going old school, what I call, and not using the wrap temperature probe. I've had these all-in-one systems for years, and I've never needed the top temperature of the mash. I've never needed to track that. All it does is drive me crazy, so I'm not going to use it this time around. I'm going with the build-in and just calling it a day, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe going back a few steps and focusing on, going back to step one and just focusing on the build-in. Maybe it'll help me as I move forward in my brewing journey, and maybe I'll utilize the wrapped as long as it's not broken in future beers. But for this one, I'm going to focus on that, focus on the people that are joining me on Zoom, and we're going to have a fun day of brewing. So let's get into it. Okay, I got the strike temp set to 158. I'm going to reduce it now to 152. I'm going to keep the heat at, actually, I'm going to move the heat down to 30%. Just so we're not overshooting. I have never used this system without the wrap temperature probe, so it'll be new for me. All right, let's dough in, 158.3. I always forget, take my glasses off. Oh, already smelling those malts. Not having brewed in a couple of months. It really makes you miss it when you smell something this good. Hey, handsome, what's going on? Dude, I'm so glad to be hanging out with you today. Yeah, same. Get those grains crushed, buddy. Crush them good, dude. Crush the shit out of them, you know? I'm a little nervous about efficiency on this batch. I opened up the mill at Sean Brookside's suggestion because I didn't get good efficiency in that wet hopped ale video, but I realize editing the video, it's not because it wasn't brewhouse efficiency. I didn't get, or mash efficiency. I didn't get good efficiency on the boil. I was down like 6 points from my OG, but my pre-boil gravity was a point higher than what the brewfather said, so I don't know. No, I think it was more. I ended up with a 1/4 gallon under. I'll still use the mill. I'll probably use the mill a handful more times, but if I can't dial in good efficiency of at least 75 or higher, I'm probably going to move away from it and sell it and keep the SS Brewtech, because the SS Brewtech I get anywhere from 75 to up to 83% efficiency, no problems. Gam Dude Brewing has joined the chat for Learn To Homebrew Day. Can't wait to get up with him and chat with him a little bit more. We're currently sitting at 151.7 with a goal of 152. Should go into the settings here. And I need to tighten up that, the temperature probe is still set. Okay. Temperature sensor is for the build-in. Let's see, I got the build-in on there now. Yeah, and then okay. So I had the temperature set for the wrapped probe, since I'm not using it this time. I was wondering why the system wasn't heating up. All right, I'm at 151. So 158, I actually let the Brewfather software set my strike temp this time. Usually I set it myself, but I'm always all over the place. So 151, it's pretty damn good. And I probably would have been a lot closer to 152 had I had the settings for the temperature probe set correctly. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit more here. We're gonna start our 10-minute timer. Gonna let the mash settle. And then we're gonna take pH. Tell you what, buddy, the mash is smelling good this morning. I think the homebrew gods are gonna shine upon us. All right, my pH reading, I was shooting for 5.47. I ended up at 5.6, so I'm gonna throw in about, this looks like, yeah, 2. I'm gonna throw in 2, this might absolutely tank my pH, but I'm gonna throw in 2 milliliters of lactic acid. And then turn on the recirc. 2 milliliters of lactic acid in. We'll let it recirculate for a few minutes and test pH again. Okay, number 2. I'm adding in another 1.5 milliliters of lactic acid. I took the pH reading and we were pretty much at the same thing. So I'm gonna take one last pH reading and call it a day. Looks like we're teetering between 5.32 and 5.31, which is lower than I wanted. I was shooting for 5.48 or 5.47. But we're within range, on the lower end, but within range, so I'm not gonna mess around with it. Because I can't help myself, more so out of ridiculous curiosity, I'm just insane. I'm sticking a temperature thermometer in the mash to see what the temp is. I don't know if you can see, probably can't see that or not. You probably can't see that, but what can I do with this in a way that's visible to you and also to me? Sitting at 164, 165, and on here, on the system, it says 159 or 160. So 166, but how about in the mash on the other side? 165. So we're off by about 5 degrees. Shouldn't have done that, because now I'm just gonna think about it. No bueno. But that's about where we're at. We are mashing out. Okay, we got a few more minutes on the mash out. It's Learn to Homebrew day, so I had to get myself a nice sausage, egg, and cheese, 2 eggs delivered. Got a few more minutes left. Looking good so far. We are rocking and rolling right along. We're gonna start the sparge here in a few seconds. All right, here we go. A mixture of Fuggles, Nugget, and Cluster hops for 60 minutes in the boil. Oh, it smells good. I took a first runnings gravity and we are at 0.42. We're shooting for a 0.35 pre-boil, so that looks pretty good. I stuck the sample into the fridge and just adding those hops. It's actually, usually I don't drink a beer so early, but the brew tree, AKA Jesse, AKA Mr. Canada in the club, as well as Billy Gamdude Brewing and Drew from the Underground Brewery, they got me drinking. So, hey, it's a holiday here for homebrewers. The homebrew gods are shining upon me with a solid brew day so far, so why not enjoy a couple of beers? Now that is a solid boil. We got the boys on doing their thing. Nikhil is on here. Jesse, the brew tree, is on here. They're in my earphones, so no matter what they say, you're not going to be able to hear them. Drew from the Underground Brewery is on here, and believe it or not, Gamdude Brewing is on here. And we're just hanging out, brewing beers, drinking beers, Nikhil, what are you drinking? Oh, Nikhil's drinking tea. Reasonable. He just woke up like a half hour ago. So we're hanging out, learn to homebrew day, having an absolute blast. Okay, so we keep oscillating between 036 and 037. Right now it's hanging out on 036. We're aiming for 036. So pretty good. We'll see what our numbers look like here on the boil. That's where I had my issue with efficiency last time, is that I was actually above on my pre-boil for the wet hopped harvest ale. I hit my gravity for pre-boil here for this blonde ale, which makes sense. I brewed this beer 11 times, but with a new mill, messing around with the roller width, the distance between the rollers, I was a little surprised that we got as close as we did. So we'll see how the rest of the beer goes. Okay, so this is my process here. I'm currently chilling down the beer. I added my Eureka hops at flame out. I have my pump going with my whirlpool arm. So instead of me mixing the beer, I have the pump do the work for me to get down to pitch temp. I know I've shown it before. I'll show it again briefly. This is how I cool the beer. I have my jaded chiller connected to my sink. I take 2 5-gallon buckets, and the first runnings off of the faucet go into the bucket because my pump for my sink is only rated to like 180 degrees. Also, it's nice to have nice hot water to clean the brew system out with, which I do after I transfer the beer. So, currently sitting at 100 degrees, and once we get down to right about 70 to 72, I'll transfer into the fermenter and pitch the yeast and hang out with the boys for a couple more beers as we welcome new members, hopefully, into the meeting room.